Hello, Steel City Surge fans. Skippy here, coach of the Steel City Surge, back for PDL Week 2 in the Orange Islands Division. Last week, we took on Arch Ovum and secured a very nice 5-0 victory in our Week 1 rematch of PDL Season 2 finals. This week, we're taking on a familiar foe in Pokebaldi. Pokebaldi has a very interesting team for his Dundee Darmanitans this season. Rocking Great Tusk, Spectrier, Terra Hydrapple, Overquill, Terra Diancie, Metagross, Talonflame, Araquanid, and Raichu. The Hydrapple can Terra into Dragon, Steel, and Water, and the Diancie can Terra into Fairy, Water, and Fighting. This is a kind of scary team, very physically offensive as well as pretty good physical bulk as well. And, I mean, some pretty heavy hitters in there. Spectrier, I like calling the thing the stupid horse because it very much does two things and only two things. And I can pretty much counter both of them pretty easily. Great Tusk is just a great overall option. Metagross is just Metagross. Araquanid is a very annoying web setter. Diancie is a very annoying setup sweeper. Overquill is just a monster that can do a lot of things, and Hydrapple is Hydrapple. It regenerates, it has a lot of bulk, it hits really hard, it's just really slow. So, with all that being said, let's get into the team that we brought for this week to take on Pokebaldi. Starting off, we have our Dead Boy Annihilate. We're running a Choice Scarf this week. Choice Scarf with enough speed to outspeed a booster speed Great Tusk, so he can hit 451, 452 at with that Choice Scarf +1. We're running Defiant in case we do see webs from Araquanid this week. We did not expect to see webs from Kricketune last week, and Arch ended up bringing webs, so gotta have that as an available option. We're running, like I said, enough speed to outspeed Great Tusk. That means we also outspeed Spectrier, and we also outspeed Talonflame. We are running Terra Fire this week, so that way we don't get burned. Our goal is to lead Terra Annihilate and Terra first turn, so that way we don't have to worry about Flame Body from Talonflame and have a Will-O-Wisp switch in, as well as potential like Brave Bird switch-ins and stuff, so we can build up Rage Fist. We're running Rage Fist, Close Combat for Stab, as well as Earthquake for the Overquill because that thing is annoying, and then U-Turn for Pivot. So, that is our Dead Boy Annihilate for this week. We are also bringing Greninja. We're bringing Choice Specs Greninja, our Ninja Boy, with Battle Bond again. So, the idea with Battle Bond is we use Stab, Surf, Water Shuriken, and Dark Pulse for just hitting things. Essentially, we clean up with this thing and just do massive damage across the board. Surf is very hardly resisted by a lot of his team. Obviously, Araquanid is there with Water Absorb. There is Terra Water on Hydrapple and Diancie. But everything else doesn't really like taking either one of these stabs. Even Diancie and Hydrapple after Terra into Terra Water or Terra Steel does not like taking a Dark Pulse either. So if we get that +1 from Battle Bond with that +1 speed, even Spectrier doesn't even want to take a Surf, Water Shuriken, Dark Pulse, none of that. U-Turn is just there for pivot. If we potentially get in on something that we need to get out on, or something like that. So the main thing with Greninja is kind of like last week, but a little more offensive with the Choice Specs this week, just to try to do some damage because it doesn't have exactly the best special bulk, so we're going to try to take advantage of that. Next up for this week, we are bringing Scizor, our Iron Boy, again. We're bringing a Rocky Helmet and defensive variant this week. We're running pretty much max defense with a little bit into speed, just to outspeed and like Overquill, Diancie, Metagross, trying to speed creep bulky Scizor. We're running Technician with Bullet Punch and Dual Wing Beat for damage. Defog to get rid of hazards because spikes, toxic spikes can get very annoying, even Stealth Rock. And if I don't want webs up, I want to get rid of them as soon as possible. And then we have U-Turn for Pivot. So the main idea with this thing is to try to switch in on Great Tusk if it comes in with Ice Spinner or anything else. This is like our main check to the Great Tusk, just because It's the only thing that has like neutral or resistance to either one of its stabs and its support moves. So I'm not really too concerned about anything else with this thing. I mean, we can use it for Overquill, we can use it for Araquanid, we can use it for Metagross, but do I really want to be using it for those? Probably not. I'm going to see if I can find other options to work with that, and I do have some other options available. The question is, like, how often do I really want to be going into them? But that's our Scizor for this week. We're going to be moving on to our Garchomp. We are running Lumberry Garchomp, our sharp boy. Lumberry is there for Talonflame, so that way we can get up a Scale Shot and outspeed it, and then use Rock Tomb on it to just knock it out. Rough Skin, obviously, because it's better than Sandveil. We're running an Adamant Nature Garchomp with enough speed to essentially outspeed like a mid-speed Overquill, outspeed Metagross, all that fun stuff. So that's the main idea with this guy. We're running Earthquake for stab because outside of Talonflame, there's not really anything that really wants to come in and take an Earthquake from Garchomp. There's a lot of ground weak mons on this team. Thunderfang is there for like Araquanid mainly because Rock Tomb is great and all, but we don't need to worry about speed being reduced on Araquanid, like, ever. So, having Thunderfang with the potential to paralyze or flinch Araquanid is kind of nice. And same goes for Hydrapple. If it's Terra Water, we can kind of use that for it. Yeah, so that's the main deal with these guys. Rock Tomb is also kind of nice for anything that has Rocky Helmet on it. So, I saw that a couple of times with Mox with Frida. So, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing with Garchomp. It's just mainly there to do lots and lots of damage and try to wall break for us, because it's a very physically defensive team, and if we can use a physical wall breaker like Garchomp to whittle them down a little bit, that's all power to us. Next up, we got Siren Boy, the Primarina. We're going to be running an Assault Vest on this thing this week. This is our main special defensive check, but also it's pretty good offensively. We're running Liquid Voice with Hyper Voice just in case Spectre wants to try to set up with Substitute and like Nasty Plot. We also have Flip Turn, Draining Kiss for recovery, and Energy Ball. This is a very good option into Diancie, more or less, just because setup is kind of annoying. We can pretty much run Energy Ball onto it. If it wants to be Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Body Press, Stored Power, we might run into a slight issue with that. But if that is also the case, we can chip it down slowly, because we resist Body Press. And Draining Kiss would give us recovery onto Diancie, no matter what Terra it is, because it's either neutral or super effective. So that's the main idea with Primarina. It is there for Spectre mainly, but also Diancie in case we do end up seeing something like that. Or we can also use it to try to check Hydrapple if it does not have a Grass move, which I hope it doesn't, but at the same time it very well could run Grass down. If that is the case, we will work with it. And last up, we have our Toxtricity. Our Rock Boy is coming back this week. We're running an offensive sweeping set with this guy. We are running Throat Spray with Shift Gear, Punk Rock, and pretty much all noise-based moves. So anything will proc that Throat Spray and give us a +1 boost right away. We are running Modest. Shift Gear gets us to outspeed Great Tusk at booster speed. And we have Psychic Noise specifically for that Great Tusk as well. We can pretty much knock it out as long as it's not an Assault Vest with Psychic Noise. So that is the main idea with that. Psychic Noise also prevents healing from like Spectre if it wants to run Draining Kiss on us, or anything like that. It also does good into DNC with that too. Overdrive at +1 does massive damage to pretty much everything, and same with Boom Burst too. And yeah, I mean, this is mainly another special offensive mon that can potentially sweep. It most likely is just going to wall break for a couple mons. But the main idea with it is we switch in on Overquill, potentially DNC, depending if it has Earth Power or not. It probably does. But we also can switch into like Araquanid and stuff, or like bring it in on Araquanid after a turn or something, like on a U-turn, like a slow pivot, like from if it's not water absorbed from Primarina and stuff. But Yeah, I mean that's the main gist of this team here. I mainly expect to see the likes of Great Tusk, Spectrier, probably Overquill, DNC, Talonflame, and maybe Araquanid. I could see Hydrapple showing up, but I'm not sure exactly what it wants to do into this matchup. Metagross is another one of those iffy mons that could potentially show up. I don't really see any reason for Raichu to be on the roster. But you never know. I've seen some very interesting things over the years in terms of what people bring to battles. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do, and I'll see you guys in the battle. So thank you guys so much for watching this team builder. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace.
Hello, Steel City Surge fans. Kippy here, coach of the Steel City Surge, back for week 2 of PDL Season 4 in the Orange Islands Division. This week we are taking on Pokebaldi and his Dundee Darmanitans. We do see Spectrier, Terra, Hydrapple, Talonflame, Overquill, Great Tusk, and Raichu. Very surprised to see Raichu, not as surprised to see Hydrapple, but the other 4 we were expecting to see those 4. So I'm definitely going to lead off with Annihilate. That is my guaranteed lead into this. We Terra Fire and U-turn depending on what we see. I'm very interested to see what Terra that Hydrapple is. It can be Dragon, Steel, or Water, and that could be a problem for us because we didn't actually see a whole lot of Hydrapple during mocks and prep and such, so it could be a kind of an issue, but we'll see what happens here. We will have to see what happens. Best of luck to Pokebaldi this week. Best of luck. This should be a fun match. The last time I played Baldi, we had a fun match. It was pretty good in WPF. Rats. We see a Raichu lead. Okay. So, unless this thing is Shuka, I outspeed it and I can just go for an Earthquake. I kind of like that because, I mean, does Raichu... Yeah, Raichu gets static. I Terra right away, and I'm going to Earthquake. If he wants to stay in, that's fine. But we should be able to take down Raichu, and he stays in. So unless he's Shuka or Sash, I think we knock him out. Terra Fire right off the bat so we don't get burned by Talonflame later. That's if we don't get paralyzed by Raichu. Get that Earthquake off. We do not see Shuka. We see an automatic hit Oko. That is huge. So we don't even get to see the Raichu. We do show we're Scarf though, which I think is fine because that spits out Talonflame. And we can go right into Garchomp right after that. Because he'll probably want to Willow with Talonflame or want to swap out into something. But getting rid of Raichu early like that is pretty nice. We see Overquill. Okay. Air Balloon Overquill. Okay, I like that. That's fun. That's fun. I like that. I go into Scizor on Overquill. This could be... This is probably Poison Point Overquill if I had to guess. If I go into Scizor, yeah, even Choice Band's Jolly, or it's not even Choice Band, it's Air Balloon. What am I talking about? That's a nice option though for Overquill. So it is an Air Balloon Overquill. So Crunch is going to do very, very little unless he's like adamant. We see SD. Okay. So even +2, probably not going to do... it's going to do a chunk, but it depends on his speed investment. We definitely do not outspeed him. I'll say that now. So we're going to do a slow pivot U-turn. We do see Crunch. This will do roughly half. Yeah, 344 to 152. We're going to pop that Air Balloon. We did 56%, so that's a mid-roll Crunch. Definitely an offensive variant here. I think I can go into Garchomp. Maybe. I mean, a liquidation from this guy. I mean, it is probably Poison Point. The Air Balloon is gone. I could go into Garchomp and threaten it to knock it out with a Scale Shot. I think going back out into Ape is pretty good, though, because this thing is at half HP. And a close combat would knock it out. So we're going to go into Ape. Go back into Dead Boy. So this thing is at just over half HP. Unless this thing is bulky, I believe we just knock it out. Yeah, an EQ can knock this thing out pretty easily. I think a close combat is a better option, though. That is not like an impish nature. I'm gonna U-turn, I think, because I expect to see like a liquidation or something, or a swap. I'm gonna go ahead and U-turn. He does stay in. Yeah, we don't do that much damage. I want to keep Scizor a little bit healthy. So I think going into Garchomp is my best play here. Unless Rock Boy can take a crunch, I don't know if he can. No, he can't take a crunch, so we go into Garchomp. A crunch would do a lot of damage, but Rough Skin would do some good damage back too, and... I'm pivoting a lot. Oh, I did go for Liquidation, but that actually does less damage, so that's pretty okay. Unless we get the defense drop. We don't. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go for a Scale Shot here. We are taking some unnecessary damage. He is faster. He's gonna pick up the KO in Garchomp. That is good for him. That stinks for us. That was... I was hoping he wasn't max speed, but he's definitely max speed. Okay. I think I can threaten out with Greninja and go for a Surf. I could go for Dark Pulse instead. I think Dark Pulse is probably the best bet. Or I can go into Scizor and Bullet Punch, because he is at very, very little HP. I think I can go into Scizor and threaten out with a Bullet Punch. Yeah, we're going to go into Scizor and threaten out with the Bullet Punch. Yeah, because that thing is pretty much dead. So we're going to go for a Bullet Punch. We're going to either hit a Talonflame and get burned, which is going to stink, or we're going to take out the Overquill. Losing Garchomp sucks, but not really. I mean, Terra Dragon Hydrapple could be a problem. He stays in, so we are going to take it out. That's huge. So no Overquill. We see Spectrier, Great Tusk, Talonflame, and Hydrapple. I kind of expect to see either a Hydrapple or Talonflame next. I don't see Great Tusk coming out. Maybe Spectrier makes an appearance, but if he goes Spectrier, he does go into Firebird. Okay. Yeah, that checks out. Now... offensive Talonflame does do a lot of damage to me. How much are you doing to Primarina with a Brave Bird? You are offensive. You do chunk me down. I think I have to go into Annihilate here. Offensive could do a lot, but then we get a Rage Fist boost, and we can just Rage Fist. We're gonna go back into Dead Boy and hope you're not offensive. U-turn. Okay, that's actually really good for me. That is actually really good. So we get a +1 to Rage Fist. So it's U-turn. Honestly, that turn could have gone a little bit better if you went for like Will-O-Wisp, but this is actually good too. Getting that Rage Fist boost is massive. Because I don't know if Hydrapple likes taking a Rage Fist. It kind of does. Depends on the Terra. But I mean, Earth Power doesn't KO unless Brad Jr. That's the Hydrapple, isn't it? Yep, that's the Hydrapple. Okay, I'm going to U-turn into probably Primarina. But we definitely go for a U-turn. That did a lot of damage, and he didn't Terra either. I am going to go into Preem here. We do see Earth Power. Earth Power is going to do 352 to 291. Okay. You did 17% with Earth Power, so that means... You're definitely not Specs. I think I go for a Draining Kiss here. I want to get HP back. We do see a Terra. Is this Terra Steel? Draining Kiss does do less damage to Terra Steel. It is Terra Steel. See, the thing is, we get some HP back, we damage it a little bit more. But we do know that we're faster than it, and we definitely live whatever he wants to go for. He does go for Giga Drain. Okay. That doesn't do that much damage. We're at 183 right now. I can go for a Hyper Voice. I can go for a Hyper Voice pretty free here. We're at 183. So 83 to 52. So he did 31% with Giga Drain. That is not modest. It might be FizzDev. That's very little investment across the board. I like going for a Hyper Voice here. He stays in, doing good chunks of damage to it. It's a Citrus Berry, okay. Fair play. Yawn, okay. That's crazy. Yawn, Giga Drain, Earth Power. So I probably should flip turn here just to get some damage. This also gives me an opportunity to figure out what takes damage and gives it back. We are Terra Fire. Earth Power doesn't quite KO us. Neither does Fickle Beam unless it gets that random boost. And we can take it out with a close combat after. Most likely, at least. I think a flip turn... Yeah, I like a flip turn into Annihilate here. I like a flip turn into Annihilate because we have 344 HP currently. We're at 94%. And if he does go for Giga Drain again, doesn't get much HP back at all, we can go for a close combat and guarantee a knockout on it, or force out like Spectrier, and then we go back into Free Marina. Does go for Earth Power, so he's going to do a lot of damage, but we live. So we can go for a very free close combat here. Unless he wants to swap into Spectrier, he does. Okay. But we have a 150... He goes into Firebird. Okay. This could be really good. Close combat does... Not enough. Okay. That was a crit, too. Okay. That is very bulky Talonflame. That is a very bulky Talonflame. Because a crit from close combat... that doesn't do nearly enough to... Well, that's bulky, too. So that has to be a bulky and low roll. How much does Talonflame do to Greninja? With a Brave Bird, it could 2-hit KO me. How much do you do to Toxtricity? I think I can go into Toxtricity and get set up here. I'm gonna go into Toxtricity. If he wants to U-turn, that's fine. We'll deal with it. But I go hard into Tox here. Because I can shift gear if he tries to like Brave Bird and knock me out. He does U-turn, okay. This might be Great Tusk. This might be Great Tusk. It could be Hydrapple. If it is Hydrapple, Earth Power definitely KOs me if it's Hydrapple. But I just Boom Burst and get damage off on it, most likely. What is Terra Steel, though? I just Overdrive if it's Hydrapple. I just Overdrive, or I Psychic Noise and get... It is Hydrapple. Okay. I'm going to Overdrive here and just get damage off on this guy. Because Rock Boy doesn't really do that much for me currently. That is a lot of damage. We get the Throat Spray off. He does go for Earth Power. He is going to take the knockout onto us, but that's okay. Hydrapple KOs. Toxtricity. I might be able to go in and threaten out with Gren. Yeah, Surf Gren kind of just goes ham now. Because I get Battle Bomb boost and then I just sweep. I think I just win here. Goes into Talonflame. He's going to sack off Talonflame here. That gives me the Battle Bomb boost still. And Battle Bomb boosted Surf onto Hydrapple just does massive damage across the board. This is why Gren was such a high price. So Gren takes out Talonflame. Great Tusk doesn't like taking this. Hydrapple comes back in. This should still do massive damage, and I'm gonna go for another Surf. Because we should be able to knock this thing out. We are Choice Specs +1. This should do 81%, and he's barely at 60%. If he wants to hard swap again, Okay, that's fine. We just take more damage off and knock things out again. Pumbaa. That's gotta be Great Tusk, right? That is Great Tusk. Is it booster? It is booster. Is it booster speed? It is booster speed. Okay. So Great Tusk goes down as well. So now it is 2v4. 2v4. Greninja putting in work right now. It's going to be a roll on Hydrapple most likely. But I think I have to go for it anyway. If he wants to go into Spectrier as well, Surf kind of just guarantees a knockout on it. Does go back into Hydrapple. This is going to be up in the 90s. Now, this depends if it's a bulky Hydrapple or not, but I don't think it matters all that much because I have a 150 boosted Rage Fist currently. I'm going to go for a Surf. We're just going to get as much damage off on this guy as possible. And we get a knockout. Okay. I think we just win then. I think Greninja just kind of takes down Spectrier. And if not, even if we don't, if it's like a bulky Spectrier, Primarina comes in and just walls it. Or I can go in with Ape and just take it down. It's Scarf! Oh, okay, it's Scarf. Oh, no, wait, this thing outspeeds me. What am I talking about? This thing outspeeds me. No, this has to be Scarf. I have a +1 speed. That is Scarf. Oh, okay. I was not expecting Scarf Spectrier. This is fine, though. This is fine. Primarina. This thing is using Draining Kiss. It does have a +1. This is probably Modest? I don't know. We're gonna calc it as based as Modest. Yeah, we kind of just come in with Primarina. I mean, how much is it doing to Annihilate? From Terrifier. Draining Kiss does 14%. If it's Modest at +1, that means it does a max 63. I mean, I think I just want to get... We'll go in with Ape. We'll go in with Ape. Because +1 Modest, the most it can do, unless it crits, is 63. And even if it does get a crit, Draining Kiss does 94 max, and Rage Fist just guarantees knocks it out. GG's to Baldy. GG's. Hydrapple was such a pain to think about, and I completely forgot about it. GG's to Baldy. Honestly, some great sets across the board. I really want to know what Raichu was meant to do, because I think it was meant to static stuff or paralyze it, and it just kind of went down early. But I really like the sets that you brought too. I was very scared for a little while too, especially with Spectre sitting in the back with Choice Scarf. That thing is annoying. I always say I hate the stupid horse, but that thing is just annoying overall. GG's to Baldy. Go ahead and check out his channel as well as the other coaches for the Orange Islands division down in the description. I'll see you guys all next week for week 3. We'll be taking on, I believe, Frobe and the Sydney Slowkings. So keep an eye out for that video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.